the new Benjamin Akela in 22. Let's take a look at it. Here it is right here. Check this out, guys. Sweet looking little bullpup, let me tell you. Definitely feels good in the hands, well balanced. It's something else. This Benjamin Akela, being a PCP, has a 3000 psi fill with a 280 cc air reservoir on board here. They claim that you can get up to 60 shots. That's probably if you actually really tune it in to get that much shots. But the manual states that you're really not going to get that many shots. If you take it down past 2000 psi, the pellets can get stuck in the barrel according to the manual. Now, as you see here, this has a very nice Turkish thumbhole bullpup stock on it. It has a transfer port adjuster right there, and it's turned in on the max from when I got it in my testing. It has a quick disconnect fitting here, so you can attach a quick disconnect fill whip to fill it up. The barrel is shrouded and has baffles in here like the standard Marauder design. Without an optic on it, the gun itself weighs 8 pounds out of the box. You can see it has swivel studs for whether it's a sling or a bipod already on the stock. And it comes with a 12 round magazine and 22 caliber. 33 inches overall length, which is not bad. And it comes with a 5-year warranty. What I'm going to cover now that I covered the basic specifications of this Akela in 22 caliber is the accuracy and precision at 50 yards and beyond, and also the trigger and some things that I found out about it for having this for a couple weeks and shooting it. Now, again, I've only shot one pellet through this barrel after I was able to read the barrel and rifling to see which pellet would work good in it. And that is the H&N Barracuda 15. This gun is the only one that I have found to work very good with those pellets. And you'll see it now. And whether or not it's using the bipod or on bags, you'll see what I'm talking about. And according to other videos with this rifle, you could definitely tell that it is not a super precise rifle by no means, but it is mainly set up for, it seems to be the hunting or pesting or somewhere along those lines. Because if it was actually a precision rifle, they would have put a regulator in this, and it is not regulated. So there we go. That one was on me, flyer. Still not used to this trigger shoe. Now I'm going to test the trigger pull. .6 ounces. .3 ounces. Woo! Here we go. 100 yards. Playing card. Got it. Woo! And of course, you're probably wanting to know the velocity. And at a full fill of 3,000 PSI on the highest setting of the transfer port here, there is not much of a curve. It wants to start high and go down. So with these 15-8-9 grain H&N 15 pellets, it wants to start almost at 1,000 feet per second, at which this gun is advertised at. But then they start going downhill after that. And again, there is not much curve at the highest setting, at least in my testing with this rifle. So with that said, even though these pellets are very accurate, I have to counteract the drop because of the velocity downrange at 50 yards due to the fact that it's not very precise. Now it's accurate, but it's not precise because they are grouping in a vertical line downrange, not so much in a cluster. So it's definitely not set up for precision shooting, but it is very accurate, and you can take some good shots with it, in which I have. I've actually taken it squirrel hunting, and I'll show you that later in the part of the video. Now I want to mention what I don't like about this rifle personally. This is just me. Again, it is very accurate, but is not precise because it's not regulated. Each shot from, again, the highest setting of the transfer port adjustment down, there's hardly no curve in the velocity. So whatever you get that's it, unless you tune it out to match it. So again, the pellets are just going to drop from then on out from the highest pressure setting of 3,000 PSI. I'm not a big fan of that because then you have to counteract the vertical holdover. Now, with also that said, other things that I found out about it is that the rail is not directly centered over the bore. The scope, when you first mount it, you could see it is not ever going to be straight over the bore. So you have to mount this scope, or any scope that you put on here, correctly to get the most out of this rifle to get that vertical stringing. And other than that, again, out of the box, I wasn't too impressed with it because I've had a crawl before, which that's what this gun is actually made by, is crawl with some of Benjamin's touches in engineering. And again, I've actually had a crawl, and I would prefer a crawl over this, and it's less than what this costs. You can get a crawl for almost half of what this actually costs, between the $500 and $600 price point. And I got my crawl MPO3 for around a $300 price point or less, depending on if they're on sale or not. So again, an actual crawl, in my opinion, is better than this out of the box. Then you see this little cheek piece right here, which is fine, but it's not really that high of quality for as much as this rifle costs. It's just a piece of plastic with an adjustment screw, which, I mean, it's not that big of a deal. But again, you're spending between $500 and $600 on this rifle, and it's basically a crawl at the core, but with Benjamin's name on it. So again, I've shot a real crawl, and I would prefer a crawl over this. And one last thing is that this trigger shoe, I'm not a fan of. I thought I would like it, but you can adjust it to whichever angle your finger is, but you can't adjust the trigger on this rifle. So, I mean, it is what it is. That's just me personally. Now, let's move on to the things that I do like about this. So, it is side cocking lever, obviously, but what you notice here on the bolt probe is that the housing has a square cutout on the bolt probe. So that bolt probe is staying straight all the way in, all the way out to the magazine when you're reloading. There is no wobble in there like on a lot of guns where it's just a circle cutout and it's not constrained. That's what I do like, besides the fact that, you know, the rail's off. That can make a big difference to some people downrange if you're not getting the good accuracy out of it. Now I'm going to show you what it can do out in the woods if you're buying this for hunting purposes. I was able to take a squirrel out with it when I brought it with me out to my deer stand. So check this out. Well, everybody, I hope you enjoyed this video of me sharing my experience with the Benjamin Akela in 22. Again, for the price point, I would rather have a crawl because I've actually had a crawl and I know what to expect. So again, Benjamin got this from Crawl and put their touches on it and then, you know, marketed as such and at a higher price point than a real crawl would cost. That's just me, that's my personal opinion. But again, you know, for what you get here, this gun should be a lot better tuned than that out of the box. Now I know you have to tune it per pellet, I understand that, and you get the adjustment here to do it, but not being regulated and that valve not being that great out of the box, it doesn't justify the cost of this rifle to me personally. So anyways, that's all I have to say, and besides the scope and rail issue of the barrel over the top here, that's all I really have to say about the rifle myself. But again, overall, it does feel good in the shoulder. The stock feels really smooth. Cocking lever is butter smooth. The trigger breaks like glass. Definitely a nice little rifle, or bullpup I should say. And it's really compact. And again, in my eyes, this was made towards more for like plinking or hunting or pesting, not so much precision shooting or bench shooting, because again, it's so compact, you could take this out in the woods. As long as you have your ammo and everything tuned in properly, you should have no problem with this Benjamin Akela. So everybody, thanks again for watching. I'll catch you on the next one.